Now, I'm not nosy, I promise. Those days are gone. They are gone. I love touching the soil. Autumn, winter, into spring and summer. This bag always gets a lot of attention. I love this day every single start of the new season. It's a day that hits me. Watch your bags, girls. Watch your bags. I love this. If you are interested in easy houseplants, I can fit an elephant into a matchbox. Do I own any other stripes? Complete with the Liberty label there. What do we think? I love to chat, don't you? Good morning and welcome back on this absolutely glorious spring day. I hope you are all well. You've got your favourite drink. My favourite drink, I'm sure you probably know already, is of course a cup of coffee, my third cup of the day. I hope you are at home and ready to settle in because we have got a lovely spring vlog today, but I'm going to call this Cambridge during the spring, and you will see why as we go through the day. Well, it's really good to be back today, and I have to say I look forward to vlogging days so much. I love to spend my days with you. How are you in your corner of the world? As you know, I love to hear from you, and here is a good question for today. What does it look like out of any window that you can see right now? You know that I love to do this, especially first thing in the morning. So today is Monday, the start of a brand new week. I'm standing at my kitchen window and the skies are blue. It's a blue sky day today. The sun is just coming up over the camera, so you'll know if you watch the vlog already that the sun comes up from my left and it goes right over. We are a self-facing apartment, which means that we get the sun pretty much in the main room all day. But right out of this window at the moment, let me tell you what I can see. I will describe this to you in a way that you can imagine, and then when you comment to tell me what it's like outside of your window, I will use the same skills and just picture what it's like in your corner of the world. So outside I can see, okay, to my right, I would say 1 o'clock, there are some really tall trees. The trees are still bare, but what I find fascinating about these trees that the birds go right to the top of them. And I would love to know why they do that. I'm wondering if it's just because it's for a better view, because they see more bird's eye view, or is it because they don't have the branches to deal with? I really don't know. But there is quite a few birds, I would say probably 10 up there that I can see. So moving round, we have got over the way a garden that you can just about see into, and it belongs to an elderly gentleman who is out every day of the year in the garden. He will be out this morning either in his back garden or in his front garden, where, if you are local to me, you will know this. He has the most spectacular roses display, so much so that people take photographs of it as they walk past, or they just stand and stare in amazement. And he keeps those roses going for such a long time, I think until the first frost. He's almost known as the Rose Man because he just loves them so much. So he's got his back garden over there, nice green shed. So he'll probably pop in there for a cup of tea and then vegetables at the back, and then come to the front garden for the roses. Moving round sort of straight ahead of my window, we have another apartment. Now this apartment just over the way has just started some window boxes, so you'll all know how much I love doing my window boxes. Well, they have started over the way and it is lovely to see. So this morning, nice and early, doors were open and watering was going on. Sadly, my daffodils have finished. Mine were early flowering daffodils along the balcony and they're sitting there at the moment all wrinkled up and I really need to sort that out. So hopefully later on today I may be able to sort out the daffodils, ready to put the bulbs in down into the community garden. So that's going on over the way. It's really nice to see window boxes straight out of my window. And you know, I was saying to you about the gentleman who lives over, and I was talking to you about his back garden. He is out the front, wheelbarrow is out. I knew he would be. He's out every single day of the year. His garden is his life. And I don't know what he's going to be doing today, but he's got his wheelbarrow there and I'm sure that he's going to be super busy. So 11 o'clock is a main road, although it's quite a quiet main road. We have lots of bicycles. We're part of like a bicycle lane that goes through the town. We often see lots of walkers. I love in the morning when I see the postman go by. It just signals that it's mid-morning to me, and it's one of those really comforting times of the day. I would love to know if this is the same for you. Do you see certain things happen? So when I see the postman go past, I know it's mid-morning, probably time for another cup of coffee. I always think, what have I got done today? He often will ring the bell. He's not ringing the bell today, but he will be tomorrow because he's got a vintage dress to ship off for me. So as you know, I have a vintage dress business and it's wonderful nowadays because all I need to do is wrap it, prep it. Hopefully you'll be able to see it later on. It's a vintage Liberty dress. It's gorgeous and it's going off tomorrow. So he will ring the doorbell tomorrow and I hand the parcel over to him and the dress is going off to Germany. I know how much you love to know where the dresses are going to. So off to Germany. But there are definitely things that happen outside of this window at certain times of the day. Now I'm not nosy, I promise. I am just interested. I have taken those words from GB. It's one of the things that he says. I think because where we live, and as you know, we don't really have any blinds at our windows. We love the light coming in. And I think because we are really tuned into the seasons, it's a way to bring the outside in. We love a dark evening, but where you can just see what's going on with the street lights. And I think where we have our arch window in the main room, you really do just see what's going on outside. But there are definitely certain things that happen at certain times of the day, like when people walk their dogs. There is an older man who walks 2 border collies at 3:25. I don't know where he lives, but I know that he is crossing our road at 3:25. Now that always signals to me that I must be ready to teach. I have been teaching this morning, I am teaching after school today, and I must be ready. So I always feel that if he does not walk past at that time of the day, there is something wrong with the world. At the back of you, I can actually see the gorgeous house that is opposite. Now they have a newspaper delivered. And the newspaper man, he arrives at 7:10 in the morning. And that signals to me that I need to be ready again to teach, that I need a coffee on the go, and I need to be over back in the main room so that I can perform my teaching duties. So there are definite things that happen outside of our window. These things happen in the day, and it is the world just ticking by, ticking by, ticking by. And it honestly is the simple things that can bring so much joy. And he is tending to the roses. I can see that right now. I have got my 3rd coffee of the day, as you know. I feel like I'm quite buzzy today. I've got a really exciting day on. Let's tell you a little bit more about what you can expect in today's vlog. Lighting a candle just means that it's a day at home, and I love a day at home, and I'm really hoping that today's vlog is going to be full of all of the things that we all love about this beautiful time of year. As I mentioned earlier on, today's vlog is titled Spring in Cambridge, and that's because we spent some time over there over this last week. From where we live to Cambridge city centre, I would say it's probably around 30 to 40 minutes. So I'll be sharing that all with you later on. And whilst we were there, I popped into Primark and I thought you may like to see what is new in store, beautiful spring transitional pieces. And I thought that if you don't have a Primark near you, it's always nice to look at fashion items. And for me, it just helps to remind me what I already have at home or how to style things in different ways. So I'll be sharing that with you later on. We are also doing the big switch over today. I love this day every single start of the new season. So it happens once during the spring and once during the autumn. And of course, that is switching the clothes over. And I thought you may like to see how I do that in a small space. I have got a lot of white washing in the washing machine that needs to come out. I'm hoping to get that dry, ready to put into my sort of new season collection. Now, hopefully, fingers crossed, later on I have time to look at some of my house plants. You'll know that in my last vlog, we went into B&M and I bought a planter. There's something that I want to do with that. And there are also a few house plants, a few over here, a few house plants. I want to talk to you a little bit about my herbs as well, but a few house plants that need looking at. It could be that they need dividing. It may mean that they need new soil. It sounds like I have got a very, very busy day on, and you've got to remember, I'm actually teaching after school as well. So I think we should get started, don't you? Go through to the main room for a little catch up. I want to talk to you about the weekend, and there is a sensitive subject coming up around Mother's Day. Now, I know that some of you may want to know about Mother's Day and the day itself. Some of you may find it, I think the word is like an emotional trigger, and I am absolutely fine with that. I'll let you know when I'm starting, but the video is time stamped. So if there is any reason that you would like to skip on by and not hear about Mother's Day, then please do just go along the bottom and skip by. I completely understand. So let's go through, make ourselves comfortable in the main room, and then I can share just a few bits about our weekend. And now that you are receiving a vlog every Saturday, there's just a few little bits and pieces to catch up with. So hopefully you've got a nice warm drink ready and let's chat. I love to chat, don't you? Just take a look at that glorious sunshine today. Birds are singing, the sun is shining, and it is really, honestly, truly a beautiful spring day. As we move through into the living room, I thought I'd quickly show you this gorgeous puzzle, and I'm so proud of myself because I have completed it. I have to say, doing this puzzle was just lovely. It really was. This is just the dream for me, living here, having this greenhouse, being out in the garden, sun hat on, vegetables from the veggie patch, this beautiful greenhouse full of terracotta pots on a gorgeous spring day. Isn't it lovely? If you are interested, it's Green Fingers. The brand is Hop, and I love that they have pieces that are all different. This is part of the Redbrook collection. Let's catch up. I've not seen you since last Saturday. It's now Saturday again. Do you have plans for the weekend? What's the weather like this weekend where you are? Fingers crossed you have some sunshine. I honestly love to hear from you, whether it's through a comment or an Instagram message or an email. It really is the only way that I know who's watching the channel, and really the only way that I can communicate with you. So do keep in touch. I love to hear from you. We had a good weekend. I'm not sure what we were up to now, but oh yes, I do remember on the Saturday. Now, you know me, I try and avoid the news at all costs. I just don't want to be saddened by what's in the press. But I did keep up with it on Saturday because we were told that there may be an opportunity to see the eclipse. It was happening between 7 a.m. or 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. I can't remember when it was supposed to be happening. But I'm sure you're the same. If you know something's going to happen, you send a message to your girlfriends. So I was first on that, sent a message to my girlfriends, and being women of a certain age, a reply came back to say, well, I'll keep an eye on it if I'm awake at that time. I had to message and say, no, it's supposed to be happening now. So we just had this conversation for about 2.5 hours that just said, no, it's still sunny. There's only sunshine. It's just a sunny day. And basically, we were supposed to see it in our area. And I don't know if anybody did. Do let me know. Did you see it in Hertfordshire, Cambridgeshire, Bedfordshire? Did you see it in our area? I didn't. Then Saturday afternoon, we went out for a lazy lunch. I love a lazy lunch. A lazy lunch for us is a country pub somewhere. So we have a really tiny little village near us, and it's got an amazing pub, but really good food called the Fox. And you know, I love foxes. I have this connection with foxes, and I love this pub and I love the food. So we had a lazy lunch there. I had a few glasses of wine, and then we just had a leisurely evening on Saturday. And then yesterday was Sunday. It was Mothering Sunday. So a little bit of conversation about that is going to pop up now. So do just go to the bottom, and you can just literally skip on by if you are somebody who doesn't want to listen to this section. I completely understand. Okay, so woke up on Sunday morning, it being Mother's Day, and started off the day actually nice and calm. I made myself a coffee, and I was doing that jigsaw puzzle that I was showing you. I think I felt that I just needed to be grounded. As you may know already, I lost my mum, my beautiful mum, in 2017. So it was a few years ago now. Although I know that Mothering Sunday is coming up every single year, it's a day that hits me. And a friend messaged me actually yesterday to say she finds the day harder than anniversaries and birthdays and Christmases. And I can understand that. And I think it's because the whole day is focused on motherhood. And it's a trigger for many people for many different reasons. For me, it's that I've lost my mum. I know that this day is coming up every single year, and I say to myself, I am going to have a really positive day. I'm going to think about mum in all the wonderful ways that she was. And honestly, so many of you would just, I say so many, I think all of you would love mum. And if she was here today and she knew that I'd set up this channel, first of all, she would just love to understand more about everything that I do. She was the first person to support Jane and I, my sister and I, in everything that we ever chose to do in life. And when I say support, I mean she was the first one to shout about what we were doing all the way through our lives. And I really strongly believe that mum would be a strong part of the channel, which I actually think she is a strong part of the channel, because she taught me everything. And I am my mum in some weird way, if that makes sense. But I think so many of you would relate to her. You would find her a joy to be around. She saw the good in everyone. There is something about the day, the immediate loss that mum's no longer here, hits so hard. The pain that mum is no longer here is unbearable at times, and I function in my day-to-day. I very much use mindfulness to help me through, and I live a life that Mum would want me to live. She would want myself and my sister to live on. She would want us to laugh and see the birds and have a nice drink and a nice meal and be engaged with life. I allowed myself tears on Sunday morning, and then I put the radio on and they had a whole morning dedicated to mums, and the poems that were shared and the songs that were shared was so wonderful and helped me to remember Mum. But it gave me a lot of sadness that she's no longer with us. GB has also lost his mum, so there's emotion there as well. We ended up having a coffee and just both of us chatting and celebrating our mums. Whilst we were chit-chatting about our mums, we had a message from the boys, GB's sons, to say, were we going to be around later on? They wanted to come round and see me. If you are a step-parent, you will understand. Receiving a message like that from adult stepsons just means the absolute world. When they have decided for themselves that they wanted to see me and have a hug with me on Mother's Day, it's just so special. We are incredibly lucky. I've known the boys since before GB and I were together. We were friends for a good few years, so the boys had really got to know me. They trusted me, and we'd always had a friendship from when they were young, which was great. The boys have the most wonderful mum. I'm not here to replace the boys' mum. She's perfect. The boys have a mum. I am here as a safe friend, family member, person that they can trust and tell me anything. They can take the mickey out of me if they want to, and they do. But at the same time, they care for me and they pull me up out of the chair and they just show me love. As a step parent, there is nothing that you want more than to be accepted as part of the family unit. The boys really did make my day. Just hearing that they wanted to spend some time with me on that day was just really kind. We were planning to stay in all of yesterday, but honestly, the weather was just so nice that GB said, come on, let's go over to Cambridge. We'll do the river walk and we'll grab some food. I'll tell you what, we had the most beautiful spring day, and I thought you would love to see just little snippets of the time that we had over there. So there was punting and parks and cherry blossom, and if you've never been to Cambridge, it's beautiful during the autumn but stunning during the spring. So I'm going to split it up into two. The first one is just going to be a little dedication to my mum and GB's mum, and then later on I'll show you a little bit more. So here is spring in Cambridge.
Sit, be slow, argue with the minute that's quick to go. You don't have to know who to love today. Just start. Look around. Still be slow. Let Let your sight be told where to go. You don't have to know how to love today. Just look around. Places to be, spaces to fill. How much time is there to kill? Don't stop. You might feel something. Struggle through the pretty lines. What can you see with blind eyes? Sit still and breathe. Let your heart take its time. Sit still and breathe. Let your heart take its time. For love looks around. For
I've got a huge bundle of white washing here. This is part of bits and pieces for my spring and summer collection. I've basically had the washing machine on non-stop since Saturday, sort of washing jumpers and bits and pieces to go away with the autumn and winter collection, and then re-brightening up the whites. I tend to use a washing powder and then the Oxy white. I find that if you've got white dresses, blouses, things like that, they do need a good freshen up, a brighten, ready for the new season. I'm going to pop the indoor washing line up. I'll open the door. It's a glorious day, a little bit of a breeze. We'll bring the outside in and hopefully these will be dry in no time. Washing's on the line, doors are open, blue skies. It's such a glorious, glorious day. I think this is how I bring the outside in. You know, when fresh air just moves that very homely washing smell? That is what it smells like in here. So this is some of the white collection. but I've also got some over here as well. So they will be moving through shortly, but they will need an iron first. Let's move through to the main bedroom and we can start putting some of the autumn winter stock away. What a glorious day. First of all, let's get the radio on.
Look at the weather, chilly to start, followed by a dry day with sunny spells. For most, some light rain developing in the northwest of England with highs of 17 degrees.
It really is the most perfect spring weather day today. The temperature is just right. It's the sort of day today with the sun coming through, shining on the bed, radio on, where I could just have a little nap. You know when the sun just helps you to fall asleep? It's one of those types of days. But I'm not going to do that today because I have got my transitional wardrobe happening. We're moving from autumn, winter into spring and summer. And I've got a few little tips and just a bit of an insight really about how I store my clothing in a small, intentional way. You know that we have a small apartment. We are living intentionally small, which means we don't have a lot of space. But my mum used to say, I can fit an elephant into a matchbox. Have you heard that saying before? I can fit an elephant into a matchbox. And I'm hoping that I can share just a few of my sort of storage tips with you today. First one being how to store away your big, huge winter duvet coat. It is definitely time to say goodbye to you for another season. So my big duvet coat is one of those coats that comes out when it's incredibly cold. It's the sort of coat that I used to wear when I would watch my stepson, my eldest stepson, because my youngest one doesn't play, but my eldest stepson used to play football and I would go on a Sunday morning. It's one of those keep warm types of coats, but don't need it anymore. So put the zip all the way up. I'm going to turn it around. You may know this tip already. I'm going to use the hood as the storage. I'm going to put the arms in. And then I am going to fold and fold. So I fold one way and then I fold the other way. I never used to be so organised, but when you live this small, you have to be. Come to the end, roll up, almost like you would roll up a sleeping bag. That's what it reminds me of. And then come right to the top. I'm going to use my hood. I'm going to tuck it all into the hood. Hopefully, she says. Takes a little bit of effort, but I can do it. Give it a little bit of welly and ta-da! Coat in a hood. That's ready to go away, as well as my winter knits. I loved those winter knits this year. I've been through them already and I've just put a couple ready for charity. The ones that I love and wear every year, the jumper dresses, the ones that you'd have seen me wear all of autumn and all of winter, and probably next autumn and winter also, are ready to go away. So get that. Let's get the jumpers and then I'll just show you how I store them. For the winter clothing, I have 2 grey boxes. These are from IKEA. They are super, super strong. I think they're classed as outdoor boxes. As soon as that lid is on, you basically cannot get into the box. There's no breakage. They are fabulous. So it's time to put the winter collection away. And I always think that if you can put your clothing away in a way that you look forward to getting it out again, it just makes it so much nicer. So I'm going to lay my jumpers in darkest to lightest. So you'll notice that most of my clothes are very, very neutral. I'm just going to fold my jumper dresses in half and then they will take up the length of the box and I will fit 2 in side by side. I'll show you what I mean. So I store them in long ways, dark coming up to light. My gorgeous cardigan going away. I bought that just after Christmas and I loved it this season. As I know lots of you did too. It was from Primark, but they sold out pretty quickly, which I'm not surprised about at all. Let's put that there. Then I've got my 2 cream, my lightest ones on the top. Lots of you ask where I get my jumper dresses from, and they're from H&M, and they last. I've noticed that they last and last. I think these ones are possibly going to be going into their 5th year, I think. So these have been washed once already, really carefully washed just to look after the fabric. And then when they come out in the autumn, I am somebody who will just give them a very, very light freshen up just to get that homely washing liquid smell back again. We'll look forward to seeing those again come the autumn. Let's get the lid on and do the next one. The next box is more shorter jumpers rather than jumper dresses. I've held back one. I've held back a vintage pullover just because in the UK you just can never quite tell what the weather's going to be like. So I've kept one back. These ones fit better in the box this way round. Then I will have a room for my scarves and hats and gloves. When you put your clothing away season per season, it's almost a gift really. And just seeing like this one, I remember cooking for Christmas wearing this and going into London with GB wearing it, and just lots and lots of happy memories. I'm somebody who loves fashion, but I very much try and keep to a certain colour scheme, a capsule wardrobe. You have to when you don't have a lot of space. And I've only got these 2 boxes to put my winter things away. So jumper dresses in one, shorter jumpers in the other one. Come the autumn, when you pull these out, you won't remember what you've worn last season. And if it's something that you've not gone to, or something that you just don't like anymore, it's time to pass on, let somebody else make use of it. But I definitely do wear that deep green. This hat was bought for me by GB's mum, so I won't be getting rid of that. This hat has gone a bit bobbly, but I think I can sort that out. Okay, no, I've worn all of these hats. None of those are going. My mum's scarf that I love to wear every single winter. It's not going anywhere. What do we think? Can I get my coat in here? I'm not too sure, but I'm going to give it a go. See if I can actually fit an elephant into a matchbox. I've got a feeling most people would say no, that this coat cannot fit into this box. But I'm going to make it fit because it needs to. I haven't got anywhere else to store it, so in it goes. A lid on. Let's get everything in. Get on. Please go on. Please tell me you are the same as me. This lid must go on. Right, we're ready. Let's get this lid on. Please go on. Yes, it's on. And it's completely secure. So always make sure that when the lid is on, there's no gaping around the sides. My 2 winter boxes are done. So we have a loft above, and I don't very often go into the loft, but we also have a storage unit because, as you know, I own a vintage dress shop and I am a teacher with many resources. So we have an organised sort of storage unit where everything is. These are going to the storage unit because I don't like going in the loft, and I much prefer going into a dry storage unit where, although I have to drive to it, it's not far, I just prefer doing that than climbing up the ladder and entering the loft. last I do, let's head over to Primark to see what's new in store this season. Okay, my eye has gone to a Rita Ora blouse straight away. Isn't this gorgeous? Look at those beautiful sleeves on there. Isn't this lovely? £22. Again in the Rita Ora selection. I love the ruffles on this. This one's a medium, 17. These are a gorgeous colour. I think I will try these trousers on. They're 20 again. They're the Rita Ora range. I think, let's see if they've got a medium. Are they a medium? Are they a medium? 12. Let's try these on. There is a waistcoat to match, but I don't think I'm too keen on that. Very, very pretty. That's 25. Gorgeous for the spring. They have the skirt as well in that same fabric. £20. This one is more classic. That's £16. Blue and white stripe. Take one of these stripy black dresses to try on. They've also got that available just in the black. So I'll try that on as well. Almost says my name. My favourite area of Primark, the Primark Edit. My eye's gone straight to an A-line black skirt. This could come in really handy. They've got that in the medium. I feel like the medium may be a bit big. We're going to try on a few spring transitional pieces from Primark. First one is that dress there. So I've picked this one up in a small, and that is 26. This one is a striped topped dress with a black skirt section, really quite long. I'd say that's mid-calf in length. I've picked that up in a small at £18. The same dress as the striped dress in a black, small, 18. The wide leg Rita Ora trousers, I've picked those up in a 12 at 20. And then a plain black A-line skirt. This one has pockets. I picked it up in a small at 20. Moving on to some tops. I've picked up this cropped cardigan in a small. It looks quite small. It may be too small for me. £15. I'm not really one for colour, but I've fallen in love with this. I love the sailor collar on that. Medium, £14. And then from the Primark Edit range, a striped t-shirt at 12. First up, it's the black dress. I picked this up in a small. I was thinking that the small looked my size, but it is far too tight. I love this, but it's too small. I need this in a medium. £18 though. £18, that is such a bargain. Pockets as well. I really hope they've got this in a medium. I'm not sure if I'd get the black one. I like the stripe version better. Fingers crossed they've got this in a medium. And a little tip, I will try if I can to get one that matches, like here, this one matches on this side, but this side it doesn't, so fingers crossed I can find one. Now, I really thought I would like this more than I do. This is a small, I think it's the right size, but I just don't feel like this does a lot for me. It has pockets, and I love something with pockets, but I think I prefer the black and white striped dress that I've just tried on over this one, so this is a no. Next up, I love the idea of this outfit, and I see women wear outfits like this all of the time, but it just doesn't do anything for me, or I don't feel like it does. The trousers are a size 12, a little bit big on the waist, but almost gives me a bit of a tummy, I feel. T-shirt I do love. If I was working in an office, I feel like if I was wearing those with heels, that would be better, but no, they're a no, unfortunately, although I do like them, but just not on me. This time I've left the t-shirt on and I've teamed it with the black A-line skirt, which I really do like, but this outfit looks just like the dress that I'm going to go back for. Do you feel like the skirt could come in really handy with other items that I have at home? I think it needs to be out, actually. I've got a feeling that should be out. I like the top, but I just don't feel like it's me. I wish it was, but it isn't. Don't think it suits me, unfortunately, but I do love it. Also, navy with a black in this outfit just doesn't work. Last up is a little crop cardigan, which I really like. I feel like this cardigan is very me, and it would definitely go with a lot of things that I own. I like that it sits at my waist, so would fit a lot of my in and out dresses. Looks great with this little skirt as well. We'll pop the cardigan into my maybe pile. Yeah, it's cute, isn't it? Okay, we're going to head out. We're going to see if the stripy dress is there, and of course I will let you know everything that I've picked up later on in the vlog. What did you think to the Primark collection? You will see some bits that I've tried on, but I'll show you exactly what I picked up later on. Well, because we're ironing, switching over now to my vintage dress business, I thought you might like to see the vintage Liberty dress that's sold. It's stunning. It's complete with the Liberty label there, and just look at that fabric, spring and summer all over. This is 100% cotton, pinafore style, huge pockets, could be worn on its own or with a t-shirt or blouse, and this will see the customer through the next goodness knows how many years. It is absolutely timeless. It just makes sense because I've got the iron out now, just to iron it, press it, make sure it's ready, and then I can wrap it and prepare it for international postage later on. I would say that the main fabric that I go for these days is cotton, particularly in white or black. Now, I do own, as you'll know from my previous vlog, I do own some pattern. I do own some different colour. I recently bought the blue and white A-line skirt from H&M, and I also own the gingham dress that I bought last week, as well as a few other dresses here and there that you may see over the next few weeks, months. I think as you age, I'm now 41, I have really found myself. I found my style. I found what's comfortable. You know, long gone are the days where, am I alone? I used to wear the skimming underwear that I'd pull really tight around my waist so that I was uncomfortable, or I'd wear my big pants, which I do still wear sometimes. I am prone to wearing a big pant if I'm going out for the evening, why not? But I used to do that almost every day of my life, and those days are gone. They are gone. It's all about comfort and ease and what I enjoy wearing. And if I enjoy wearing really plain but beautiful clothing, then why not? Why not? Let's show you the wardrobe space. This is my space and GB has the same on the other side. So I'll show you what it looked like in the autumn and the winter. It had my autumn winter jumper dresses in and then my main coat. That's pretty much is all that will fit in the wardrobe over the winter. But it really does help you to keep in that I'm going to wear 20% of my clothes 80% of the time. If that is true, then I don't need to buy and buy and buy continually lots of different things. When I'm changing the wardrobe over, I place everything over on this hook and then it goes into the wardrobe and I make the wardrobe look sort of inviting, a place that I want to go, particularly on those days when you wake up and you don't know what to wear or you just feel a bit meh, like a bit, you know, those days when you try things on and you're just not happy. Well, I know that if I have my wardrobe looking as neat and tidy as I can, then when I go to my wardrobe, I enjoy choosing something, even if there's not a lot in there. So black dresses have just gone on and now I'm just going to pile up the white ones. Then I have a few blouses which you may have seen. So I've got a black, white that I wore in my last vlog and then another white there. And I do have a few more bits and pieces on the line. But let's pop these now into the wardrobe. And I always have my blouses on the left and then dresses over on the right. Now for colours to match, I'm going to pop my black blouse in there and then I will put the black dresses as well. So it's white, black, then white. I organise my dresses by sleeve length. So I know if I've got a long sleeve, it's further on the right. The shorter the sleeve, the closer to the left it is. Wardrobe's looking good, but do remember I do have more white dresses and white blouses on the washing line. They will also go in. There is more room in here for those. One of the spring summer styles that I absolutely love and will become a staple from now until the autumn is a straw bag, often a vintage straw bag. I have got quite the collection to share with you. So some of these are vintage. I think there is one that is available that you can buy on Amazon. So I will share that with you because I get asked all the time about that one. If I had £1 for every time someone asked me about one of these bags, well actually all of them, I would be an incredibly rich girl right now, but a lot of them are vintage and they are one-off pieces. So let's start with my bamboo one. So this is not straw, it's bamboo. Always loved this. This is a vintage bamboo rectangular bag. You can often find these online. I do have one very, very similar to this available in my shop because I've managed to get hold of a second one, but this one is my own and I wear it a lot. It is lovely. As long as you don't mind people seeing what you've got, it's an absolutely wonderful bag. This bag always gets a lot of attention. This is actually from Primark, but it is vintage now. I shared the story about this bag on an early autumn vlog, so I'll link that somewhere with you, because I ended up with 2, but today is not about the history of the bag, but if you want to find out about that, I will, as I say, pop the link up now for you. This is my vintage Primark bag. I love it. It has a lining. I've always loved this bag. Last summer, actually, I was holding this bag when we went to Cambridge, and we got on the park and ride on that occasion. Sometimes we do that, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we get the train, sometimes we drive in. And as I was paying for the tickets, the bus driver said, "Have a lovely picnic." I think he thought it was a picnic bag, but no, it isn't. It's just a summer straw bag, and I love it. Next up is probably going to be my most loved bag this year. Mrs. P, my dear friend Mrs. P, bought me this for my birthday. I was absolutely delighted when I opened this. I could not believe that she had found such a wonderful gift. I love it. Mrs. P obviously knows me very, very well, because she will have seen this bag so many times, all on our coffee dates, or if I've been round to sit in her garden under her sun umbrella. This has not been worn yet. My birthday is in December, and that's when I opened it. But my goodness, it is immaculate. Stunning inside. It's got this beautiful clasp. This is going everywhere with me this summer. You'll probably see this a lot. I'll hold this one here. It's got a slightly longer handle. This is a vintage crochet bag. Mrs. P loved this when she saw this, that she hunted high and low for one for herself. So this is vintage. Again, beautiful. I love how beachy this one is. This is a great throw everything in, head to the supermarket kind of bag. How many spring summer bags does one person need? But I had to have this one, and I love it. Next up is the vintage style bag that you can get your hands on. This is a gondola basket bag. I say gondola or gondola. It's that type of shape. It may bring back a few memories. I do have the smaller version of this. It's in the warehouse. I just did not have enough hands. You will see it over the summer because I often use that bag. But because I have this larger one, I tend to grab this. Are you ready? I'm sure this will bring back some memories for some of you. Here is my oversized straw wicker basket. I say basket bag. I love this. I use it all seasons. It lives in the car, and I will take it when I pop to the supermarket or the greengrocer, if I'm popping around the charity shops. I've had so many people ask me where it's from. It's a very special basket for me because GB's mum bought me this, but she said it was bought on Amazon, and I've hunted it down for you because I know how popular this will be. I think my mum had the smaller version in the 60s. My smaller version is very, very delicate. It's been loved. I have worn and loved it for years, but it's had a lot of life before me. So it's not one of those bags that I have around the home. They're quite big to store. As I say, this is it always in the car. When I take this out, I'll often have this as my main bag, but you just wouldn't want to leave your keys, phone, lipsticks, things like that just in the bag because anybody could take them out. So I will put a vintage clutch inside. I've had this for many, many years, and I think this is Primark, you know. It is Primark, but very, very old. I would say it must be at least 20 years old. You'll notice just how well the bag fits inside. So I thought about that. My mum used to be somebody who would say to all of us, "Watch your bags, girls, watch your bags." I mean, it was a known thing. And even me saying that, my girlfriends, if they watch this, will know that is what Mum said, because she just wouldn't say it to Jane and I, but she'd say it to the whole friendship group. Watch your bags, girls, watch your bags. And she almost used to do it in that sing-song voice, as much to say, I'm telling you what I think, but if I sing song, it's not going to come down so strong. It's lovely thinking back about things that our parents have said over the years. So that is a perfect fit in there. The last bag that I'm going to share with you is something that I bought at the end of last summer. Some of you may remember it. I'm letting you know that it was just last year's stock, because if you fall in love with it and you go onto the website Vinted, which we have in England, I know if you're outside of the UK, I don't think you have that website, maybe eBay or something like that. But if you type in summer straw bag, it would have been from last year's stock. And it's got, well, I'll show you it and then you can just type it into the description and try and find one yourself. It's one of those bags that I have not worn yet. It's got the tag on, and I am looking forward to just taking it out on a Saturday morning, strolling through town, sun hat on, clutch bag, maybe in the evening out for a drink on a hot sunny day. So here it is. You can see it's got its tag on, and I think, oh, look at the price. I paid £6 and it was 12. I mean, even at 12, it's a great price. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love the fringing detail of this one. I love this one. Let's show you where I'm going to store these bags. Some of you may think it's quite excessive, this amount of bags, compared to the amount of dresses I have, but I feel like every single bag has a purpose. Back in the kitchen, it's still beautifully sunny. I think it's possibly the warmest day of the year so far. The sun has not stopped shining. There are a few more clouds now than there was earlier on, but it is bright and beautiful today. And I thought I'd quickly share with you our picnic. That doesn't sound right. Our picnic. I thought I'd share with you our picnic basket. This is from Lakeland, and we have loved it for quite a few years now. However, I didn't buy it from Lakeland. I bought it from a car boot sale for £2. Not only is it the most beautiful basket, but it has a coolant liner inside. So if I lift it up, you can see that it has coolant in, so it can keep your wine nice and chilled. I really do want to give this a really good clean, but it is not for today, but I thought you may like to see it. You'll have seen earlier on in the vlog that whilst we were in Cambridge, I popped over to Primark, went into the changing room and tried on a few pieces that I thought would fit well into my spring and summer collection. I am quite restrained these days when I go shopping. I think it can be quite difficult to go into a store these days, particularly when it's the start of a new season and you're faced with beautiful clothing, dresses and blouses and jeans and all sorts of wonderful things that you would love for the season ahead. And it's quite hard to be restrained and really sort of keep to a capsule wardrobe. But I know that when I see something that I like, I know whether it's going to be something that I would wear and wear again. And those are the only things that I will buy these days. When I was in Primark, it was difficult to not want everything. But everything that I picked up and I tried on, I thought to myself, is this something that is going to work for not just this year, but moving forward. When I buy something, I do like to know that it's going to last and that it's almost classic in design. So I've picked up a few Primark bits. Let's go through into the bedroom and I'll show you exactly what I've picked up. The first item is something that I was going to save and not wear until after I'd shown you, but as you know, I've already said the weather was so nice over the weekend. I really wanted to wear them on Saturday. So picked up these. I don't think I'm not sure if I showed you these in store. I picked up these. I love them. They remind me very much of my mum. I love the stitching detail. Are they espadrilles? I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. I think I'll probably end up living in these, to be quite honest with you. I think they're a great alternative to a sandal. We don't always want to be wearing sandals, or I certainly don't anyway. I know lots of people cannot wait to put their flip-flops on and then live in them all season. I'm somebody who, I like to cover up my toes sometimes, and these are great for that. They were £8, which I think was a really good price point, and I know I'll get a lot of wear out of them. Keeping with summer shoes, I did and ah about these, and I have picked them up in a size too big for me, or half a size too big for me, but I really like them. I really like them. These are something very different to what I would normally wear, but I love how neutral they are. And I was thinking, with dresses like this that are fit and flare, a ballerina style shoe, it's just a nice way to dress up or make a dress feel slightly more formal. They've got a suede-ette feel, and although they were half a size too big for me, I went for it because they were in the sale and I paid £5 for them, and I just know that they will go with a lot of my spring summer outfits. I'm not sure if I tried this on whilst I was in the changing room or not, but I know I will get a lot of wear out of this. I love the balloon cutout sleeve detail. You'll know that I talked a little bit about elasticated cuffs on my last vlog, but I will definitely tuck this into Levi's jeans, my chinos, shorts, and I will get a lot of wear out of this. I bought it in a size small. It was £18, although in the sale for 10. You probably saw me try this on. I think I tried it on with a pair of wide leg trousers, but I instantly knew this would work really well with, I've got some denim dungarees, my Levi's, shorts. It's from the Primark Edit range, and I always find that you get a little bit extra quality there. And this contains 50% of recycled viscose, and viscose is a really good quality fabric, and you can feel that in this t-shirt. It's nice and thick. I picked it up in a size small and I paid £12, and that is definitely worth £12. Do I own any other stripes? I don't think I do, you know, but there is something about spring. I'm laughing to myself because just wait for it and you'll see why. The stripes never ever date. Let me show you what I've picked up next. Well, I did end up picking up the striped dress. Do you remember me trying this on in a small, and it was quite tight? I found it in a medium. I talked about looking for a stripe that goes around the body. It's something that can just help an outfit look more expensive. So when you go somewhere that is selling something like a Primark dress, if you're looking at stripes, try and see where the fabric matches, and as best that you can, try and get the stripe to match around the body. So like mine, it's slightly out, but you won't really notice it when it's on the body, but it's not half. I love the skirt section. I love that it has pockets. This is definitely a spring dress. It will go with both of those pairs of shoes, amongst lots of other things that I own. Needed some little hair scrunchies. We used to call these ruffles when we were children. £2.50, they'd be great for the gym. I couldn't resist these cute chicks for the bath, little bath bombs, £1.30 each, and I think they'll just look nice in the bathroom over Easter, and then when it gets to the big day, I'll probably have a nice relaxing bath with one of these. They're lovely, aren't they? I have talked a lot about this before. I quite like Primark makeup. This is the Prep and Perfect, £4.50, totally worth it. It really does even out your skin, ready for any foundation. They had my favourite lip pencil in. A lot of Primarks don't have these in, but I really love them. I love the colour. It's just everything that I love about a lipstick. It stays on, it's oily. £2. If you enjoyed those spring summer finds, I'm going to head back into the kitchen and get ready to do some planting. But I thought you may like to see the Spring in Cambridge part 2. Just sit back, relax and enjoy the beautiful spring scenery. And remember, if you've not been in the spring, it's definitely worth a trip.
I wanna go, I wanna see, I wanna feel your heartbeat. Walk every road, the highs and lows, and everything in between. When it's you and me, it's a dream. When it's you and me, it's a dream. We're living a dream. We're living a dream. We're living a dream. It's in your eyes, there's nothing like the way you look back at me. When it gets hard, I know you're there, and I'll always believe. When it's you and me, it's a dream. When it's you and me, it's a dream. We're living a dream. We're living a dream. We're living a dream. We're living a dream. Take every moment, every detail, and memorize it better than I thought. Always hoped for, always dreamt of something like this better.
It's a little bit later on now. We have stopped for some lunch. You may be able to hear GB just finishing off his lunch in the background. He made us today, it was his turn for cooking, and he made salmon. So we had a salmon each and an omelette with just a little bit of cheese, and then a huge rocket salad. Sort of the perfect lunch really for the weather that we are having today. It has just not stopped being sunny all day. Truly wonderful. Made myself another cup of coffee, and as I mentioned to you, I just had a few bits and pieces to do with some of the house plants. So a few of them need repotting. You may remember that I bought this teeny tiny umbrella plant from the garden centre recently. It's great over at Savins where I picked this up from, because you can repot and repot. They do these baby plants, and I really like taking care and looking after them and seeing them grow. So that's going up a pot size. Again, there's another one. This one needs a little bit of water. It's desperate for some water. Let's just give it a drop now. But this plant again was from the baby section over at the garden centre. It needs repotting. I've got here a spider plant, probably the easiest plant. If you are new to houseplants, I would say a spider plant is one of the easiest plants to look after because it hardly takes any looking after, and then you get little baby ones. This was a baby one. It still is quite a baby, but I can see another baby growing next to it. So I'm going to pot that up, give it a little bit of space, and then I will have two. If you are interested in easy house plants, then I've got one over here as well that's super, super easy. You may know the nickname of this one is a snake plant. And originally I really wasn't keen on these, but I've grown to love them. A snake plant hardly needs any water. It grows, you can produce more. So I'll show you what I mean by that. Here's the plant itself, but growing inside these taller leaves is this one here, a shorter one. So I could take that out and repot it on. It's interesting that they're named after creatures. Snake plant, spider plant. But these are honestly two of the easiest plants to start with. This here is the planter that I bought over at B&M. I want to put this plant into the planter, and the plant that I've got here just needs a general looking at. Some of the leaves need coming off. Over here I have this trailing plant. This was bought during the summer last year, and I actually put two together, but it's overgrown now, and I feel like if I separate this into two, it will definitely grow better because it will grow to the size of its pot. It will have room. So let's get started. One of the things that I've been thinking about is the bedroom. The white bedroom really does need a plant, and I'm going to put the umbrella plant in this larger pot. I think that would work really well for that room. We'll keep an eye on this over the next few weeks. I am sure that we will see quite a bit of growth with this one. I think that will be much, much happier in there. Should we have a look and see what it looks like? Doesn't it look so much better and so much happier in here? Whilst I'm having a sip of coffee, I thought I might say to you that we have got a new idea for our herbs. I am going to do that probably on our next vlog actually, because the window boxes along the balcony are ready to be changed. Primrose season is just coming out. It's a real struggle to keep the primroses keep going now. The daffodils are all done, as I mentioned earlier. I will plant those outside in our communal area. Just every year I add to and add to and add to. But next vlog, we'll head over to a different garden centre out in Hitchin, I think. They've got great herbs there. We may even head into town that day, grab a coffee, go around the charity shops, and then head over to the garden centre. So that will be coming up possibly on your next vlog. Do remember, if you are enjoying the vlogs and you like this type of content, please do hit the subscribe button, and then you get notified when there's a new video, or if I popped a little post on, just so that you know when your videos are coming out. That means that you're able to then plan just a little bit of you time. You know when you can have that time just to sit back, have a nice drink and enjoy watching something that you can relate to. I love watching vlogs. I love having a drink ready. I'm normally quite nestled, maybe under my throw in the main room. Sometimes if I have an early night, I might take the laptop to bed and watch a cosy vlog. It's just one of those things that I find is more relatable than TV these days. I always get my hands in. I love touching the soil. I love it so much. Pop that in there, give that some water, a little bit more water. When you don't have an immediate garden, it's so important to find ways that you can continue to enjoy things that you love, like gardening. And that's why I garden in my kitchen. I'm a very, very clean person. As you know, you probably have watched me clean this kitchen so many times. But as soon as I have done any potting or anything like that, everywhere gets a super, super good clean. All of the sides, the cupboards, all of the floor. It tends to be a day that I'm going to do a kitchen clean anyway. It's one of those activities where I always think I'm going to be really super tidy, but I always end up making a mess. It's looking a bit sad, this one. I think where it's been moved and it needed water. I'm hoping it's going to be okay. I'll pop it in the windowsill just to give it a really good chance. I know it likes the sun. Put it there. Next, I'm going to show you how to separate the spider plant. This is very, very delicate. Let's see if I can get it out first of all. Please come out. So here is the spider plant, the taller one. And can you see here where my fingers are? There's a shorter little one there. That is what I'm going to take away very, very carefully. Quite little, isn't it? It's going to need a lot of gentle love and care, I think. Okay, so here we go. Very, very carefully. Coming apart. Here we go. I've done it. One very, very tiny spider plant. But that will grow and be big and strong. I'd love to know how things are in your garden. Have you been planting any seeds? Jane, my sister, I'm sure you know that by now, but I like to say in case you're new here and don't know, she absolutely loves gardening and has an amazing greenhouse full of vintage terracotta pots. What we tend to do is walk around and she'll show me what her seedlings are, what's growing in the greenhouse. We'll walk around the plants and she'll tell me about what she's divided or what will be growing when. And then after that, we tend to take a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and sit on Mum's bench. So she's got Mum's bench in her garden and it's in prime position just to look over everywhere. She's a very, very lucky girl because her father-in-law restored that bench for us both, but it's in Jane's garden so that we can sit and just enjoy. And I think bringing those things back to life, something that Mum used to sit on all the time, just being in Jane's garden just makes me feel so blessed that we've got it and that we can rest there. Very little, but it will be looked after and that will grow. Then let's get the next one done. The larger one, again, really does need water. It's looking quite weak, but these honestly come back. They are survivors. Right, those two are done. We do need to separate this out. Let's separate. So out you come. It's quite big. It's coming out. Oh, perfect. It's just going to separate really, really easily. Put one in there and one in here. I'm just making these ones temporary because the larger pots don't have the plastic inner pot, and I really should get some. Plants need drainage and I will do that over the next couple of days, but for now at least I've separated them and the job will be much easier. Let's give that a little bit of water. Those two are done. Our herbs are doing really well at the moment. We have a basil and a rosemary as well as mint, and they're all doing very, very well, but I can't wait to share with you what we're going to be doing for our herb garden. Just needs a few of the older leaves cutting off because you can see at the bottom fresh new leaves appearing. They lose their brightness when they are ready to be cut off. Now this one in particular doesn't like the sunshine. I've tried this near the arch window before and it's not liked it at all. It just tells you it looks limp. Even if it's had a drink, it just does not like the sun. So it definitely needs to be in a shady area. Hopefully that will look nice in there. Perfect. Oh, great. Well, I am left with the top to toe of kitchen cleaning. I'm going to get that done now because I am teaching after school. This kitchen will be looking spick and span in no time. So I will leave today's vlog there. Take care, but I will see you again on Saturday. Bye for now.